Some more breaking news surrounding presidential debates. Here's the latest one from Joe Biden's Twitter account saying this: I also received and accepted an invitation to a debate hosted by ABC on Tuesday, September 10th. Trump says he'll arrange his own transportation. I'll bring my plane too. I plan on keeping it for another 4 years.
A little zinger. Trump just responded saying, quote, "It is my great honor to accept the CNN debate against crooked Joe Biden, the worst president in the history of the United States and a true threat to democracy, on June 27th. Likewise, I accept the ABC News debate against crooked Joe on September 10th. Thank you, DJT." We'll bring in Bradley Devlin, political editor for the American Conservative, and Mark Lauder, former special assistant to President Trump. Mark, thoughts here? Again, remember, there are a lot of demands from the Biden campaign to host these events. It's not clear if they're going to meet every single one of these. He didn't want a crowd, wanted it in June and September. He got that. Wanted microphones cut if one is talking over the other. Also, no third-party candidate of any kind. But this has been accepted in public. Biden, Trump, to two debates, one on June 27th and one on September 10th. CNN and ABC News, respectively. Mark, your thoughts.
Yeah, it just shows you how desperate Joe Biden is. This is a Hail Mary for them. They know. You take a look at the New York Times poll over the weekend, the polls from the previous weeks, not just nationally, but in the swing states. Joe Biden is losing. And he knows he cannot catch up because the economy is not going to get better. The border is not suddenly going to get secure. And the wars that are raging around the world are not going to suddenly come to an end. So he's desperate. And he thinks the only way he can win now is to be seen side by side with Donald Trump. And I think it's basically he's pushing all of his chips in and he's about to fold.
No prompters to read off of when you are considering the stage, the debate stage here. We don't have any word on the moderators, but CNN did confirm that there would be no audience. That was something that Trump had wanted. Joe Biden didn't want that to happen. So, Bradley, what are you looking for, especially when it comes to this first debate on June 27th, hosted by CNN?
Yeah, to be honest, I think we're getting the story wrong here. Biden has done this bait and switch. Actually, what Biden did was he denied going to the commission debates, right, in September and October. He said, I don't want to debate Trump on 3 occasions with a neutral playing field. What I want to do is have 2 debates spread out over months and basically have Donald Trump debate myself, Anderson Cooper, George Stephanopoulos, Kristen Welker, whomever these news media organizations decide to put up there as moderator. And also, I'm not going to have any audience, so Trump can't get any support in the room. This is a genius move by the Biden campaign, in my opinion. If I was Trump, I would have pointed all of this out before accepting, saying, you don't get to run and hide like you did in 2020. You don't get to go to the basement. You need to face the American people, right? We're not having this debate for cable news or for the ratings of Anderson Cooper's show. We're doing this for the voters of this country, and the voters deserve to be there. So I'm glad that President Trump is debating Joe Biden, but I would have made the Biden campaign pay a little bit more for doing this switch and then saying, anytime, any place, here's 95 Theses. You know, these are all of my rules and stipulations. I think it's nonsense. Trump should have tried him a little harder on it. But I'm looking forward to those debates, certainly, as are you guys, I'm sure.
Sure, and many historians that look back on this or Biden's 50-year-long political career and say he's an institutionalist, right? He would, again, stay on point in terms of the traditions that follow. I'm pointing to the Commission on Presidential Debates, again, as they would have 3 debates, and this would be one in September and 2 in October, and it would be nonpartisan. That is out the window. Biden says, okay, here are my terms, and seemingly somehow, and Mark, you can point to this, but somehow everything got decided down to the very date in the course of this very broadcast from 9 to noon. They picked the network and the date all at one time and got both parties to agree. Mark, is there any thought in your mind that maybe there were a little bit of backdoor dealing that may have happened before this?
I think there probably was some back-channel communications between the campaigns. It wouldn't have surprised me to have at least some framework kinds of things in mind. But, I mean, Donald Trump said anytime, any place, bring it on. And so next thing you know, they said, okay, let's go. But I do think, ultimately, the fact that they're doing this in June shows you that they are behind. And Joe Biden's campaign even talked about it by saying millions of voters would have already gone to the polls if we waited for the Commission on Presidential Debates. And that was Trump's argument as well. He wanted to get these debates sooner. But I think what Biden is now saying is, I have to change these people's minds because I'm losing. And if I don't get to them beforehand, their votes are going to be in the can. And of course, Trump, just like you know that Joe Biden can't stand up next to him. He can't form a sentence without the teleprompter, without even reading the word pause.
I know. I was thinking about that too. And by the way, these are going to happen before both the RNC and DNC conventions. We've already been covering potential unrest scheduled to occur at both of the conventions, but, perhaps more left-wing agitators would disrupt the Chicago DNC event. So you've got that to consider here. Maybe they want to get out ahead of it. Either way, we'll be watching closely. It's going to be some good stuff. Bradley, just wanted to give you the floor. Got about 15 seconds left. The moderators, is that going to make all the difference here, or is this going to come down to really how these gentlemen react in the moment?
I think it will come down a lot to the moderators. I don't think that there's any clear winner in presidential debates. It's a political Rorschach test. People get out what they want to get out of it. It's a good way to energize the base and try to humiliate the other guy. I think Trump's poised to humiliate Biden, but I wouldn't have agreed to all these nonsense terms that Biden has put forward. I would have made them fight a little bit harder if I was the Trump campaign.
Still got a whole day to respond. Again, also, what does RFK Jr. think about this entire thing? Completely thrown to the wayside here. CNN, June 27th. ABC News, September 10th. Biden-Trump debate. It is set. Bradley Devlin, Mark Lauder, thank you. National Report returns right after this quick break.